In communication with Southern California, California 9 Public Affairs presents Teen Talk.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Teen Talk. Centuries ago, when formalized education first began, only boys were allowed to go to school. A few hundred years later, girls were given the chance to go to school, but the sexes remained separated. Today, coeducational programs are the standard in American schools. Girls can be found anywhere the boys are, except maybe the boys' locker rooms, usually. But there are still a few institutions where the opposite sex is simply not allowed. I'm Joseph Feinstein, and today on Teen Talk, we're talking about all-boy and all-girl high schools. We'll try to find out why they still exist and why they are so successful at turning out some of the brightest students in the country. I'm joined this morning by students from these schools, and I'd like each one of them to tell us their name, school, serial rank and number, and grade. Hi.
Hi, I'm Siobhan McDevitt, and I'm a senior at Marlborough School here in Los Angeles.
I'm Anna Rakovich, and I'm also a senior at Marlborough School.
I'm Darren Kwan, and I'm a senior at Harvard School.
I'm Willie McAdams, and I'm in the 12th grade at Harvard School.
I'm Missy Gerson. I'm a senior at Westlake School.
I'm Wendy Wheel, and I'm also a senior at Westlake School.
I'm Dana Lowe, and I'm a senior at Vivian Webb School, which is a part of the Webb Schools of California.
And I'm Sebastian Garcia, and I'm a senior at the Webb Schools of California.
Well, welcome, panel. Welcome to Teen Talk, and I'm glad that you're all here with us. Let's start off by asking you, whose idea was it for you to go to an all-boy or all-girls school? Was it your idea? Was it your parents' idea? Or was it a combination of both? What do you have to say on that, Willie?
Well, I went to Harvard. It's on my decision, but it was less a decision between a all-boys school and a co-ed school, but more between just the academics at just a private school, whether or not it was this co-ed.
So it was the school that
Yeah.
you're saying that,
Yeah.
that really drew you to
Yeah.
make that decision.
Yeah.
And what about you while we're here at Harvard?
Yeah, that was basically the same. That the academics, my parents wanted me to go to a good school, and so did I. And also at my junior high school, that was where a lot of the guys were going. So it was just like a continuation.
I see. Did you go to an all-boys junior high?
No, I went to a small co-ed school.
Small co-ed school,
Yeah.
okay. And what about you, Siobhan? What made you decide to go to an all-girls school?
It basically was a choice between whatever all-girls schools were in the area, because when I was in 8th grade, I was looking at schools from 9th to 12th grade, and Marlborough just seemed the one that best suited me, regardless of whether or not it was single-sex.
Mm-hmm. Did any of your parents have something to do with any of this at all?
Well, yeah. My parents suggested that I come to Westlake, and I said absolutely not. I would never go to an all-girls school.
You can't make me. No, I'm not going, Mom. Sorry about that one.
I swear, and my parents even threw away the application, and then I changed my mind. I said I would look at it.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the school, and I was so impressed that I decided to go there.
Westlake enjoys a very fine reputation through the years. I've been involved with Westlake in a number of different ways, and they really have done a magnificent job at turning out some really bright, intelligent, and understanding, compassionate young ladies.
My situation was exactly opposite from Missy's. My parents didn't want me to go to a single-sex school. They were pushing for a co-ed school, and I liked Westlake a lot. I felt that I fit in there, and so I was pushing to go to Westlake.
Now, if I heard correctly, you're from Webb School, and you're from Webb School, and yet you're both at a single-sex school.
Well, I'm from Vivian Webb School,
Yeah.
which is a part of the Webb Schools.
I see. And what have they done? How do they set themselves up?
Well, both schools are part of the coordinate system, where there's two separate schools, but we both share the same campus.
That's very nice. Well, that's very nice. My next question that I was going to ask you was, to get things really going here, do you miss the guys and do you miss the girls at all? I mean, I went to Hunter College and I went to Taft High School in the Bronx, and those were co-ed schools all the way. And I don't know, do you miss the girls at all?
Yeah, you miss the girls, but I mean, after going to
Not
Harvard,
you miss the girls. You miss the girls.
I miss the girls, but
After banished from the opposite
I
sex,
know.
after going to Harvard for 4 years,
Uh-huh.
you get used to it, and actually you kind of realize that, geez, if you had girls around, how would you get your work done? Because they are pretty competitive.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think that whether or not the school was co-ed, I don't think it'd have much effect on academics.
Really not?
No.
Do you miss the girls at all? I mean, you know.
I came to Harvard in 9th grade, and I really did miss that part of my life. And you get used to it after a while, but I still think that it's a...
You get used to it for a while. I
you went to
wouldn't
Harvard
get used
too,
to it. I don't think I could. I didn't want any... There is a school in New York called DeWitt Clinton High School. It was an all-boys school. And right near it was Walton High School, which was an all-girls school. And they had thousands and thousands and thousands of people at those schools. And I wanted no part of DeWitt Clinton High School at all. Do you miss the guys at all?
Not much, because it's not. It's like Anna was talking about. It's not that you don't ever see them. It's not that they're not a part of your life. It's just that from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock you're with girls. And I think that I don't know. I like being with other girls. It's not a problem for me.
I like being with other girls too. You don't mind that. You don't mind that. Okay. Well, as you see it, what are the biggest differences between a homogeneous school and a co-ed institution? What's the biggest difference, would you say?
Oh, I don't know. I would say, of course, the biggest thing is that there aren't guys around, but you learn how to work with girls, and that way you're not in constant competition about guys during school, and it makes a nice difference because you're not in competition except in academics, and that's a really nice difference.
I would say there's very little competition as far as your friends are concerned, and socially there's really no pressure in that area. We go to school to be educated, and it just seems like we get, in my situation, I get the best education with, well, actually I can't say the best because I've never been in a school that's not, all girls, but it seems for me it's the best place for me to get the kind of education I want to get.
The best place for me right now has got to be with our sponsors who make this program possible. Putting aside all the pros and cons of the all-boy or all-girl school, there's no denying that better students seem to be coming out of these programs. Let's talk to our experts about why that's so when we come back. You stay there. We're coming back in a moment. In researching this show, I discovered some very interesting facts about the all-boy and all-girl schools. For one, youngsters seem to do better academically and socially in this type of environment. Also, classes are usually smaller, so students get more personal attention, and there are fewer discipline and study problems. What do you see as the most wonderful advantage of being at your school? Wendy, what do you see as the...
Well, just as Darren said, if you go to a co-ed school, there are distractions. If I were to go to a co-ed school, I think I'd be distracted to a certain extent by the guys who are in my classes and with me in activities and stuff. But also, I think there's a more important advantage, which is just that at Westlake, at least, there's such a close personal interaction between not only students but also students and teachers, which I'm not sure if you would get.
Yeah, we have that. It's really close. It's like they're your friends too. It's not just. And people are there because they want to learn, and the teachers are there because they want to teach.
Yeah.
Well, it's
not
it's the same way at our school. In our school, I feel it might as well be co-ed because I don't see a very big difference, between the boys and the girls' school.
Your classes are only with boys, though.
No, our classes are the academic classes are co-ed.
So you guys have the best of both worlds.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And we learn, a big part of your education in high school is to learn to deal with your peers, and we learn to deal with peers of both the same sex and the opposite sex.
I think there's a myth that people who go to single-sex schools can't deal with members of the opposite sex.
That's true.
One of my best friends is a guy who goes to Loyola, and I have a boyfriend who I care a lot about, and it's not like I get in a social situation, I go, oh my God, I can't deal with guys.
Oh, it's a guy.
Also, the type of person, if you're at a single-sex school, the type of person that's not going to want to meet people outside the school of the same sex or of a different sex is going to be that type of a person in a co-ed or a single-sex situation. It's just if you're not very outgoing, then you're not very outgoing, and you're not going to be as eager to meet other people, no matter what your school situation
One
is.
of the things that I read about in all my research dealt with the whole idea of the camaraderie that seems to exist, that guys really attach themselves to the other guys, and you develop a friendship, that male bonding, or the female bonding in the same way, that you really develop friendships that seem to last way out into space.
That's
kind of
true.
thing.
We had, what happens each year, the seniors who have gone off to college come back just for a day to talk about their colleges and their experiences and everything. And last year, I came and listened to all of them. And one thing that every single one of them said was that friends you meet are great. In college, you know, you meet lots of new people. But they said that the friends they're going to stay with for life are the friends they met at Marlboro. And I'm sure that's the same with I mean, I'm not sure that you don't do that in any high school.
Well,
but I know it's especially strong in
well,
an
at my
all-girls
school,
office.
I go to a boarding school, and you live with the girls and the guys, and so you really get closer to them because you can't put on a facade or a front and try to be a phony, because you see these people every day, you live with them, and this is like for 3 or 4 years. So you really get to know the people, and you know your friends at your school are your friends for life.
Well, let's put it this way, that you're fast approaching June, and you're fast approaching the time you're going to be saying bye-bye. I'll see you later. I mean, what college are you planning to go to?
Well, my first choice is Columbia.
Okay, so maybe you'll find 1 or 2 other kids from web school out in Columbia. But the likelihood is you're going to have to develop all new friendships now that you're moving to New York, especially. And it'll be a whole new arena for you to develop new awarenesses, new friends.
One thing that's important about an all-girls school is Westlake, I know, and probably Marlboro too, really teaches you as a woman how to feel confident, how to feel like your opinions are valid, how to talk out in class.
How do they do that, Wendy?
I don't know if it's a formula exactly. I mean,
They really pay attention to what you have to say, and when you're in an all-girls situation, you know, it's all girls, obviously, and so a teacher's going to point to a girl, and so it gives girls the self-confidence to always speak up and not raise their hand because a guy's in the room or whatever else goes on.
How many kids are there in your English class?
At the most 20, maybe.
20? How many in your class?
About 20.
20. Yeah, you can do a lot of wonderful things with 20. I've never had a class, never had a class in 32 years of teaching less than 36 kids.
But it's not just...
It's not just
Go ahead.
I don't think that's a special province of single-sex schools. I mean, there are a lot of great private schools in the United States that are co-educational and that turn out just as fine quality students as
that's what I think.
Mine.
That the only thing it lacks, it seems like, is the differences of opinions, because I think that's, you know, definitely very necessary in the educational process. So I mean, the only drawback is if you're in a room with all guys, you're going to basically hear mostly all guy opinions.
Yeah.
How do you answer the question about the fact that this is really not as real as a situation is going to be in real life, which deals with men and women, women and men? You have. Go ahead.
Since when has school been real life? I mean.
You made me laugh, Missy. You're right.
But
I
the
never
thing
thought
is,
of.
it's preparing me. More women are entering the workforce than have in a long ever, I suppose. And so then we're learning to work with women. And when we go to college, most of us will go to co-ed colleges and we'll work with guys too. But this gives us a real sense of bonding with women, which is something you need in the workforce.
I have to work with a commercial now, you guys. Hang in there. Most of our guests here today seem to have a positive attitude toward their own education at these schools. But what about one day when they have kids of their own? Will they opt for a co-ed school for their own children? We'll find out when we come back, and you will find out too. The world of the all-boy and all-girl school is diminishing each day. Let's fast forward 25 years, and panel, you've become parents yourselves. Will you send Junior to an all-boy or all-girl school, and what if they object strenuously? Willie, why don't you take that?
Well, I mean, I would personally let my child have whatever choice wherever he wanted to go, but I would encourage him or her to go to a co-ed school, because though I feel that right now I'm getting the best academic education that I can, that there's part of a social education that I'm missing.
Okay, I'm glad
I
you're
have
right.
to- yeah.
I agree with him
Go ahead.
there.
Go ahead. How do you feel about this one? Will you?
I'll definitely send Junior to, well, if he wants to go, you know, the choice is his, but,
What if it's a her? Yeah.
Oh,
Or
come
her.
on,
Yeah.
don't get carousel like on me. Go ahead.
the choice is his or hers.
Thanks.
But at a school with both boys and girls, you know, I've developed some incredible relationships with both boys and with girls,
Right.
which are very, very valuable to me, and I wouldn't want my child to miss out on that.
I think
Okay.
I kind of disagree with
Is that totally school related? I mean, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
you
But why
interact-
couldn't you?
It's not totally school related, but like the quote unquote junior who goes to a coeducational or coordinated school has more experience with the opposite sex.
See, I
mean,
have
it's
to
not for
disagree with what Willie said in all due respect. I mean, I understand that there's a social part, an education perhaps that we're missing by going to single-sex schools. But at the same time, I feel much more confident now in a co-ed environment because I feel confident in myself, and I think that's a manifestation of the education I've gotten at Westlake and the support, which isn't only academic, it's social
It makes
too.
sense
Well, I-
when you say
Right.
that because you don't totally depend on your relationship with other people. You learn to rely a lot on yourself.
That's the key of everything
And
that goes on.
even though I went to a grammar school that was co-ed up until 8th grade, and Anna and Missy and Wendy all went to single-sex school in
Yeah.
7th and 8th grade. I went to co-ed. And I developed relationships with boys and girls, and I've stuck with a lot of the boys and girls that that I had made friends with then. And I think that being at Marlboro has strengthened me a lot so that I
Would you
can
like
make
to go
friends
to an
with-
all-girl college?
No.
Why?
No, because I'm confident enough of
Yeah,
myself now
exactly.
that I can be with boys and girls and not feel threatened. I don't think I would feel threatened anyway, but I'm very comfortable wearing
Exactly.
it
You
right now.
don't think-
Single-sex
go ahead, Missy.
education, like a single-sex school is really, in high school, is really to me a building block. And it's just when you're starting to develop your own opinions and your whole style, then that's a good time to be in a single-sex environment. And then as we go into college, then I think that's the time to start being with guys.
I mean,
Your school, Missy and Wendy, Westlake, is considering, and I think that probably will go through, it sounds like it's going to go through with a merger with your school, Harvard. And we're not going to have Harvard School for Boys or the Westlake School for Girls any longer. What's your personal viewpoint on this, Darren?
I feel that it's actually, you know, positive. I mean, I understand, and over the last couple months, I've been very sensitive to their opinions. But I feel that by combining the schools, one, you're going to get that strengthened social aspects. You know, we're actually going to get, you know, guys and girls to our football games, cheering them on, and stuff like that. Plus, at the same time,
Maybe guys playing against the girls at the football games. Yeah.
or at the same time, look at it academically. I mean, with the two different departments or something. I mean, when they combine, they're going to find each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they're going to each have
Only be that
something to
much better,
contribute,
yeah.
and it's just going to be a stronger school altogether.
Are you happy about this
I
possible
definitely am.
merger?
I think that by merging the schools, we can only make them both better.
And how does the distaff side, how do you guys feel about that?
My opinion keeps switching. I see a lot of problems for the girls, at least. It seems to me that single-sex education is healthy for girls. For some girls, it's not good for everyone. But then, at the same time, the potential of combining the two schools, there's a lot of educational potential in the teachers and the classes that you can get, and a lot of eye-opening to issues that weren't brought up and aren't brought up at most coeducational schools anyway. So it could go either way.
Another thing is that Mr. Reynolds, our headmaster, and Mr. Hudnut, the headmaster of Harvard School, and also definitely our faculty, and I don't have any knowledge of the Harvard faculty, but I would assume the Harvard faculty too, are really sensitive to the issue of making the school really an equal place, an equal learning environment for both girls and boys. So although there are potential problems, I think that the people who are going to be leading the school in the next decade are really sensitive to those issues.
In which way is the Webb School only homogeneous, and in which way is it heterogeneous?
Well, the Webb School or the Vivian Webb School?
Yeah, right. Oh, I see. There's a Webb School and a Vivian Webb, and so they're two separate schools merged together.
Right, on the same campus. But we have like chapel. We have chapel three mornings a week, and assembly 2 mornings a week, and those are set separate.
Do you feel you're at a single-sex school
No.
or at a co-ed school?
No, in fact, I didn't know that it was single-sex. I didn't know about the policy until about halfway through my first year there. You know, I had no idea because you really can't tell very much.
Well, I really can tell this very much that we're going to have to take another commercial break. We'll be back with some final thoughts in just a moment. Just stay there. We'll be back. There are only a few single-sex high schools left in our country. While many people say these schools do lasting social harm to young people who do not have the chance to interact fully with those of the opposite sex, there's the undeniable fact that some of our country's best and brightest students come from these institutions. Classrooms are less crowded, there's a higher quality of instruction, and students seem to do very well at all levels later on in life. Certainly, this kind of education does not come cheaply, but as a former public school teacher used to crowded, noisy classrooms, I must say that this type of education does serve as a role model for all those who want only the best education for our youngsters. For Teen Talk, this is Joseph Feinstein saying we'll see you very soon.